this video, we will discuss about Kartilla ng Katipunan by Emilio Jacinto. But before we start on what was written in the document, let us first introduce our author, Emilio Jacinto. Who is Emilio Jacinto? Emilio Jacinto served Katipunan as Secretary, Fiscal, Editor, and was later appointed General by Andres Bonifacio in 1897. He also served as an advisor to the Supremo Bonifacio. He attended San Juan de Letrón College and transferred to the University of Santo Tomas to study law and left to join Katipunan at the age of 19. Emilio Jacinto was a member and one of the leaders of the Katipunan. He is an eloquent speaker and humanist, as his work was about the welfare of his family. A great example of this was his famous work Kartilla ng Katipunan, written and was used as a principles and rules for the covenant. What was his motivation that drove him to write this Kartilla ng Katipunan? Well, that's simple, because as an educated person, he knew that an organization must establish its own set of rules and principles in order to nurture and guide their members towards their ideology and aims in order to fully utilize their ability to act as one. What are the occurrences during those times that led them to such organizations? Well, that is none other than the Spanish colonization in the Philippines that lasted for 333 years. Filipinos faced tyranny, often being patronized by the Spaniards, causing Filipinos to strive for freedom. Katipunan established and became a revolutionary movement against Spain. How did the Philippines and the Filipinos live their lives during this Spanish colonization based in the document? While Filipinos stood up against the Spaniards to gain their freedom and sovereignty, and was led by the Philippine revolutionaries called KKK, headed by Andres Bonifacio, in which the Filipinos were amidst the bloodshed, as many lives had been sacrificed during the revolution. And in Kartilla ng Katipunan, it can be seen that some Filipinos were torn between the bribery of Spanish, so the Kartilla ng Katipunan's oath was to establish the order and fully inform the people who wants to join their organization to be aware of the regulations. What world, regional, domestic events affected the Philippines in general during this period? The formation or founding of KKK was the result of failure of reform in Spain, where Filipinos attempted to demand reforms for the Philippines from the Spanish government. This resulted in a revolution that was headed by KKK, and this events or revolution by Katipunan became the first movement towards independence. Since the Spanish colonization lasted for 333 years, the Filipinos were influenced in their ideologies of the society.
Some Filipinos' endeavors perseverance, as they had made several movements to overthrow the existing government. Philippines was in a tight spot, as Filipinos were having trouble in choosing the sides between Katipuneros or the Spaniards. It was a life or death choice for them. Hence, some Filipinos chose to remain neutral and safe from the heat of the Spanish regime. As it was stated in the document of the teachings of Katipunans, there might have been people who would want to enter the association to know its secrets, to seek personal gratification, or to know who's in their organization for a handful of silver, and give away the information. So, they were cautious with accepting their members. Evidence of this traitorship was the occurrence in Tirad Pass, where an ignorant man betrayed his fellow men by turning over revolutionaries to the Americans. Also, an infamous traitor, Cecilio Segismundo, a messenger of Aguinaldo, revealed his whereabouts. Here are important terms or concepts in their meanings in relation to the content of the document. KK, or the kataas-taasang kagalang-galangang katipunan ng mga anak ng bayan, was a revolutionary society that espoused independence and freedom for the Philippines through force of arms. Its main objective was separation of the Philippines from Spain and, at the same time, the development of the Filipinos as citizens of their own nation once independence was achieved. The kartilla, derived from the Spanish word kartilla, which was the prior used for grade schools during the Spanish period. It is also known as the best of all katipunan texts. It was printed as a small pamphlet that was distributed to the members of the katipunan. Jacinto joined the katipunan in 1894 at the age of 19 and took the symbolic name Pinkian. It was during this time that he developed his nationalistic ideas. The kartilla ends with a document of affirmations by the member to the society's teachings. Though written in the 19th century, the kartilla is significant to the lives of modern Filipinos, as it reads like a simple creed for living in the light of the many changes occurring at the present. What previous misconception in Philippine history was debunked? What new information have you learned through the document? Common knowledge that people knew about Katipunan was that it was composed of revolutionaries who were united to fight the Spaniards solely by employing brute force against them, and their association wasn't run by a dignified set of rules or even intellectual people that also uses pen, like Rizal, to revolt against the Spaniards. However, the kartilla ng Katipunan began to be the proof that the association was governed and centered in an intellectual tutelage for its members to be governed well, in which this document serves to the rules in the association. How relevant is the document in reconstructing the past of the Philippines and its people? This document played a crucial part in the reconstruction of the Philippine history, as its fragment had filled in the occurrences during the Philippine Revolution and further elaborated on the aims of the association and how it became a step to lead the Philippines towards independence. What exactly is the significance of this document? First, scholars, historians, and analysts aspect. These are the events that are part of our history that made a huge contribution to the KKK's aims. Secondly, in the political aspect, the Filipinos had established their own government. And for socio-cultural aspects, the events from the revolution brought the Filipinos together and stood up against the Spaniards. This molded their nationalistic ideas such as freedom and unity.